Everyone thinks that the longer you study, the better you will do academically. But the truth is more complex than that. And the reason I say that is because there are people who study 10 hours every day who perform about as well as people who study 2 hours every day. So clearly there are other more important factors to your academic performance than just how many hours you spend studying. And the most important of these factors are how deep you can focus and how effective your studying is. Let me explain. The depth of focus is just relating to how often you get distracted. If you're studying for 10 hours, but every hour you're spending like 15 minutes on your phone, then you're effectively just studying 7.5 hours. So it's actually much less than that, because after you get distracted, it takes your mind about 5 to 15 minutes to focus back on your task and actually get back to the level of focus that you were at before the distraction. So you might find that if you get distracted a lot, your total study time is effectively half or even less compared to the total amount of time you spend studying. This also applies to other things like your mind wandering, just thinking about random stuff, talking to a friend. For that reason, it is extremely difficult to get to 100% focus time. But the difference between a 90% focus and a 50% focus is what makes a top student. And studying effectiveness is just what you are studying and how you are studying it. For example, someone who spends 10 hours just reading the textbook and maybe underlining or highlighting the important parts is not gonna do as well as the person who is, for example, summarizing or making mind maps, answering practice questions, or just drilling flashcards. If both of these people spend the same amount of time studying, the latter person will do much better than the former. These are the two most important factors to how much you need to study. But thankfully, these are all things that you can actually improve. For example, you can focus better by turning off the notifications on your phone, making it silent, throwing it away somewhere where it's out of reach. Out of sight, out of mind. You can have a dedicated study location where nobody will be able to reach you or distract you. And you can even do things like meditation to improve your attention span. And for study effectiveness, you can start learning and practicing different study techniques. It will be harder, of course, than whatever you're doing currently. But that's the point. It's more difficult, but you get a much higher return on investment. Everything I've said is key to answering the question of how long do you need to study. Because the point shouldn't be to study as many hours as humanly possible. Like, it's more impressive if someone studies less and gets higher grade compared to someone who studies more but gets the same grade. And just blindly increasing your study time forever is a race to the bottom, especially if you're like me and you have other hobbies and other things you want to do. That being said, an important point is that any time you study daily is better than no time you study daily. This is why I really like the 5-minute rule. If you're ever feeling like you don't want to study, just try studying for 5 minutes. And then afterwards, if you still feel like studying, then continue. But if you don't, then okay, just drop everything and go do anything else for a bit. This is really cool because studies found that once you start doing something for 5 minutes, it becomes so much easier to continue doing it. Another thing studies found is that after 4 hours of deep focus, your performance starts to deteriorate. Studying more than 4 hours is of course still beneficial, but you get less benefit per hour compared to the first 4 hours. That's why I recommend you don't study every day any longer than 4 hours. You can do that of course if you have like an upcoming exam, and it's actually worth it to get that reduced benefit. But for daily studying, a maximum of 4 hours will get you the highest return on investment. So that's like a soft maximum. What's the minimum? The studies also found that our bodies have something called the ultradian rhythm. Basically, our body operates in terms of focus in cycles of 90 minutes. So I believe that 90 minutes is actually a good minimum to aim for. If you study only 90 minutes, then you're getting the benefit of following an ultradian cycle. And if you want to continue studying after that, then you should take a break of 10 to 15 minutes to defocus. It's kind of like a really long Pomodoro cycle. So to sum it up, how long do you need to study daily? In my opinion, the most optimum answer based on studies is from 90 minutes to 4 hours every day. That's a bit of a range. So how long exactly do you need to study is actually up to you. How high of a priority is studying to you? Do you have other things that you want to do? Do you feel exhausted after studying, or can you keep going? Because of course, if you studied like 90 minutes and you feel like you can continue, then it is beneficial to continue. And of course, if you have like an upcoming exam or you're trying to catch up quick, then you can study longer than that daily. And this is personally what I follow in medschool. But that being said, it is actually more important to improve your depth of focus and your studying effectiveness. And that's what I'm aiming to help you with on this channel. And if you want me to get on calls with you and personally teach you how to study better and how to focus for longer, and to make sure that you are reaching your full academic potential so you can achieve more while studying less, and also so I can help you with motivation and accountability, you can check my mentorship program in the first link in the description. Do your best out there and good luck.